Hi everyone, it's Justine here from House of Mahalo. Thanks so much for joining me. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of a craft along at the moment because I want to use these beautiful papers that I recently got in a Your Creative Studio unboxing. They kindly sent me a box to, do an unboxing with you all. So I did that the other day and I'm just itching to use these papers. I mean, how gorgeous are they? So I have had a bit of a think about what I want my project to be, and I showed a snippet of this when we did the unboxing, but just to remind you, what I've got here is an A5-ish, it's actually slightly bigger than A5, but it's one of the small Amazon envelopes so that I can have a journal notebook coming out of the side. And I essentially want to do all these little like flippy things with envelopes on the front. So this is your interactive part. It has the notebook in the middle. I've got this greeting card here which has a window there which I want to use somehow. And yeah, I essentially want to make this a fun, interactive, flippy project, but with, that notebook inside, so it's got plenty of writing space. And yeah, that's sort of what I want to do. And I've also got this mini version, which I imagine would make a really cute happy mail. It's just going to have a small notebook inside, a couple of flippy elements on the front, all made from packaging and junk. All of it I want to make from things that we want to upcycle, repurpose, etc. So yeah, if you want to craft along, essentially all you'll need is some kind of envelope, sturdy envelope, or this kind of packaging from Amazon, or even just some cardstock that you folded up. You might want to put a gusset in there so there's enough room. I'm not going to with this Amazon packaging because there's plenty of room in there for a little notebook, but if you're crafting along, you'll need a bunch of envelopes, some cardstock, and some pretty papers to work with. That's essentially all you're going to need, and I'm really hopeful that this is going to work out really nice. Now, the first step really is to get all of these envelopes matted front and back. Now, I've already made a note about what I want each envelope to do, whether it be cut into the envelope to have a pocket or add something to it. I'm not having all of them be pockets inside the envelopes because I think that would make too much bulk, to be too heavy. I've got about 6 envelopes here, which I think I'll probably do 3-ish, which will be envelopes, the envelope themselves be pockets. And yeah, and then aside from that, we'll just add extra things as we go. So that's what I want to do, and I want to use this packaging from the box for some kind of like flip out as well. So that's what we're going to do. So as I say, the first job is to get our envelopes covered. Now I'm going to do that bit off screen only because I'll probably do it late at night, when everyone else is sleeping. I'll just like be busy away just doing that, and it's not a good time to film, so I'm going to get that done off screen. But all it is all I'm doing is just simply gluing the paper on the front, gluing the paper on the back, just so that we've got bases ready to go. Now these envelopes are the ones that come in the Your Creative Studio boxes, which are, they don't have any like dips in the envelope. I'll show you what I mean if I can find an example, which I'm sure I've got an envelope on my desk. Here we go. If you have an envelope like this, you can still do it. The only thing is that you don't want to get glue inside your pocket if you're going to use this as a pocket itself, the envelope itself. So don't get glue there, you just want to glue all the way around there and in the middle, not this section here. Now in my case, because only a few of my envelopes are being pockets, I don't need to worry about that, on top of the fact that I don't have that dip, with this type of envelope. So that's the only thing you need to bear in mind. But yeah, that's the only thing. But yeah, as I say, I'm sorry I'll be doing this part off screen. It's just better for my filming schedule. And then that way we can do the fun part together, which, if I had to mat 12 sides of an envelope, it would get pretty boring. So I'm going to go off and do that. And with the power of editing, all the fronts of my envelopes are now matted. I haven't done the backs because there's a few things that I want to do to turn these into interesting things. So from now on, we can now continue this project together. Now I used the textured papers that came in the kit for the fronts of these. And I haven't done this one because we're going to do something different with that one. But essentially I was looking for things that went together really. And I'm going to have a side tuck on this envelope. And I thought these butterflies would look really nice down the side there. So I was kind of trying to build up this front to be something that was visual to look at. And then obviously we're going to add extra things here and there. So let's start with this one. So on this envelope, I'm going to have a side tuck. It was me making notes to myself. That's what I do with these types of projects. Sometimes I just clip bits of paper to them so I know what I'm doing. But yeah, I'm going to do a side tuck with the butterflies. And then I imagine, because this one's quite long, I'm probably going to do make this into a pocket itself, like the envelope itself. So with this one, I've just used this scrap of like calligraphy paper, partly because this side, as the side tuck, obviously is not going to cover the whole thing, so we're going to use this. I know I'm gesturing a lot, sorry about that, I don't know what that's about. So I think what I'm going to do is just cut off these butterflies. Okay, I think that's where I'm going to have it. I just made it so that the butterflies was the focal piece of my, what is going to be my side tuck. And then I'm just going to position them where I want them to be. Again, I'm just aiming for middle-ish. And I'm going to cut it here and here. And by the way, I'm keeping all of these scraps that I'm cutting off. Because we're going to do something with them later. I haven't decided exactly what yet, but I definitely want to do a lot of scrap busting in this project. I don't want to be left over with random papers, as gorgeous as they are. I do want to get the best use out of them. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to pop that away for a minute. I'll definitely need it again later, but here we go. Okay, and I'm going to use this scrap card as the side tuck. So let's get that glued on. I think I mentioned in the intro that I wanted to, you know, make this project quite junky in the sense of I was going to try and use as much as I could from this box of stuff, and that includes the packaging. Obviously it's completely made from packaging itself, the whole envelopes and Amazon packaging and the like. So yeah, that's what I'm really trying to do with this one, is really make it yeah, just a fun upcycled project, and they are my favourite. Those of you who read my blog know that I just love upcycling stuff. I think I wrote a whole article about why I love it so much. And yeah, I want to start getting back into the habit of making projects like this where, you know, it's complete craft along, and yeah, we're just upcycling some cool stuff. Okay, so I'm not going to keep that little bit, but I will keep the rest because I'll definitely be able to do something with that. Okay, right, question is, do we want a notch? And I think yes. So I'm going to come along with my little circle punch, and I'm going to hope that I get this in the middle. I don't measure because even when I measure I don't get it in the right place, so I've just stopped bothering, if I'm completely honest. Okay, yep, that'll do. I tell a lie. I think I'm actually going to use this big punch. I just think, oh, sorry, that's loud. Proportion wise, yeah, that looks much better, doesn't it? There we go, better. Okay, right, so I need to ink around it. And for this project, because there's a lot of orange, I think I'm going to use my tea dye ink, which, what's this dauber? Just because I think it will bring out some of the peachy tones. Oh, sorry if I'm off screen, but just inking around this piece. Okay, right. So that's for that. So So where's my glue? It's hiding behind the box. Here we go. So I'm just going to glue that on 3 sides. And that's going to be my little side tuck. And then you'll be able to see the butterflies from the front when all the envelopes are closed. But you won't know it's a side tuck, is the theory, until you open up the first envelope pieces. Right, so I'm just going to remove that into the right place. Now you might have noticed when I was matting the envelopes, I used the washi from the box, this really nice orange and green washi, because I wanted to strengthen the envelopes because they are only, you know, basic envelopes. So I've strengthened them front and back, and I'm also using them as part of the decoration as well. So you can see there, you've got the nice border with the butterflies. I thought, well, if I'm going to use the decorative washi for practical reasons, I may as well make it part of the look of it as well. Okay, so that's that. And then this one I said was going to be a pocket in itself. So I'm going to open it up on the side, and then that will be space for a nice long tag to come out of there. So I'm going to cut off a bit of a chunk just because I've got room to, and then there we go, we've got a nice big envelope pocket. And I'll ink around all of the envelopes later once we've done everything. I'm just sort of going an envelope at a time really, and then we'll have it build up to be something later. Okay, we have one side tuck, lovely. So if I've got it in the right place, yep, see, this is how it's going to be. And this is also, when I'm doing this kind of project, I keep building it up so I can see exactly how it's going to look. So you can see the butterflies, and then I might, I'm probably going to cut this one down a bit. Maybe I could have wanted the butterflies over a little bit more. Maybe I left too much of the washi border, but that's fine. I think it looks nice, and it matches this one. I also left a border there, so, you know, and then when you open it up, then you get the pocket. Okay, so those are ready-ish. So the next job is I've got these 2 square envelopes, which, fingers crossed, I'm going to have them be on the piece like this, diagonal, and we're going to have a policy pocket go between the 2. That's what my goal is. So I've got 2 1-inch circles punched out from some thick card. I just have a stash of these. And I'm also going to punch out from this scrap of paper. This is left over from matting the envelopes. And again, I'm just going to keep as many of my scraps as I can. Okay, so I'm going to want to glue these onto the thicker cardstock, just to give them a bit of protection. Oops, there we go. Sorry, I'm all fingers and thumbs today. There we go. So yeah, as I mentioned, this is not a tutorial, it's very much a craft along. Obviously I'm trying to do the boring bits off screen, like, you know, it took me a good half an hour to mat all of the fronts of those envelopes. But you know, I'm not going to be able to do all of it off screen without you seeing what I'm doing. So consider it a craft along, and I imagine these will be bonus videos for those who want to watch. So I need a couple more circles. Ideally I want some thick ones. Okie dokie, I'm all set, found my circles. So I'm going to hold the covered circle and the plain circle together, and I'm going to aim to get in the middle with my awl, middle-ish, like so. And then I'm going to push through this tiny little brad. I've got these really cute heart-shaped ones, and I think I'll add this one here. So I want to push these now through the middle of the envelope. So I've got the envelope open here and I'm being very careful. I put my fingers inside the envelope and I'm just going to stab through where I believe the middle is. I'm not going all the way through the envelope, I'm only going through that first layer, and then I can push that brad through. And then I just want to just twiddle a little bit until I'm happy with where I've got it. Okay, and then I can, open up the envelope hopefully, and just open up the brad legs inside the envelope. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but there we go. I'm just going to give that a squidge down and then just make sure everything's in the right place. There we go. So now that is a nice little policy closure once we wrap some thread around it. So that's the first one. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. I just thought it would add an interesting element without covering up the pretty paper. That's sort of what I was aiming for, in case you're wondering. Okay, and then we're going to do the exact same thing. So it probably helps to use envelopes that you can get your hands into nice and easy. Unfortunately, this one I'm going to have to do upside down. So fingers crossed I'm getting it in the right-ish place. Doesn't have to be exact. And I'm remembering that the envelope is upside down, so there we go. Okay, and then just want to open up those legs again. These envelopes are not going to be pockets. I'm going to have pockets on the back here, but I'm not making the actual envelope itself a pocket at this point. Okay, so that's another job done. As I say, with these types of projects, it just helps just to go a step at a time, just building up the layers that you know that you want to have and have it build up to be something. And that's the same really with upcycling anything, isn't it? So I think I had that one there and this one there. So those are we're gonna have some thread between these two envelopes, like so. So when you get to this point, you have to undo that before you can get to the next layer. I just thought it would add an interactive element. God, I can't speak. So those are ready now for backing the backs of them. So I'm going to put those to one side so I don't get myself terribly confused. And that's the same. This is going to be, I'm going to do a collage on the back of this one, I think. So that one's ready for the next stage. So these ones, my papers weren't wide enough to cover the whole envelope. I've got these brown bits sticking out. So first and foremost, I want to cut those down. And then from there I can decide, some of them may very well end up being envelope pockets. Because, you know, if we're cutting them open anyway, we may as well use them for that purpose, if we can. Like I said, I don't want to make every envelope a pocket, because, you know, that would be too much, but certainly some of them can be. Alright, so the next stage I want to do is decide which envelopes are going to be pockets. So this is my first envelope. Now this one I'm not going to make it a pocket, because this one is the long pocket that we cut originally. So this one I'm going to close up, and that's just going to be a simple flip. We'll have something on the back of it. Okay, so that's that one. Okay, so that's open, that's open. So now we have the policy pocket envelopes, which we know we don't want to have as pockets. So now we're left with these two. Now I actually think it might be really cute to have these matching. So I'm going to make both of these pockets, I think, for nice journal cards to come out of. They're a good size, they feel nice and strong. And then maybe on the back we could have belly bands. Okay, so that makes 3 envelopes that will be pockets themselves. So we've got these 2 and we've got this long one, which is also a side tuck. Lovely. Okay, right. So next step, next decision to be made is I need to sort something with this now. So this is actually going to be the very first flip on the piece, but I've got all of this like text on it and stuff. So I thought simplest thing, I'm going to come along and just cut all of that off because I like the design on it. So I'm actually going to use that in the project rather than cover it. I just want to get rid of these black lines without losing the design. Like I don't want to cut the butterflies off and stuff like that. And then here we're gonna cut this side. I just want to cut another bit off there. All the way, just making sure that it's everything's straight. Lovely. Okay, so that's that. I'll probably need to cut it down in width a little bit more, but we'll come to that in a second. Okay, so that I'm going to keep. This will make a good belly band. And now we can have a look at this. I appreciate I'm probably going too slow for some of you, and I suspect many people will fast forward through this video, but this is kind of how I have to do it myself, is just take it a step at a time. So you can see there, this piece is too wide, but I need to put a hinge in it. So I'm actually thinking I can put the hinge on this side. So I'm just going to make a mark as to how wide I want it to be. So for that, I'm just going to get rid of everything because I want this to be essentially the width of my back piece, because it's going to be the piece that holds everything closed. Okay, so I'm going to do that first. It will just help me when it comes to decorating this as to where everything is going to be, you see. Okay, and then I'm just going to score wherever that mark is, as straightly as I can. Obviously I don't need a hinge that is that big, but waste not, want not, we're going to use this card. So just give that a squidge down. So it's quite a thick card, but it's really good for this kind of purpose, because once it lays flat, I'll probably have to stick it under something heavy for a bit. You know, it will be just perfect for a little like flip out piece. I know I'm squidging around every which way, so like I said, very much a craft along, not a tutorial. Okay. And then I think I'll probably end up rounding the corners at some point. So essentially that's going to be our flip. Like so. Lovely. So for this piece, I'm going to have a big window in the middle using my big circle punch. And on the back, I want to cover it with book page probably, and scraps from the project book page, etc., which is what I'm going to cover this piece with, the whole thing, the whole base. And then I'm going to have a pocket along the bottom. And actually I'm thinking I could use this offcut piece from what we just cut off and then just cover that with some pretty paper. That would make sense, wouldn't it? There you go. You can always use scraps, eh? Okay, so I think I'm going to concentrate on this first flip. So I'm going to collage the back of it with some, I've just raided my scrapbooks for some, you know, neutral, book page, music sheet, etc. scraps. And then I've just got a few leftovers from when I was cutting down the papers originally. I'm going to try and incorporate those as well. And I'm just going to shove some glue on it. I've got my glue sheet out, so I'm ready. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and just start putting these down as a bit of a collage, so almost like a collage masterboard. but because it's going to be quite neutral, I think this will work quite well, I think. And then yeah, we're going to punch a circle out of it, do something interesting. So I was thinking we'll punch a circle, and then we can have something in the window for essentially, because we're putting the pocket on the bottom, I thought whatever goes in the pocket can be the thing that goes in the window, if that makes sense. Sorry, that was just my dog. He has a tendency to bark at, well, quite frankly, any little noise that happens outside. Car doors, kids, you know, the works. It's a condition. Okay, so have that there. So yeah, I'm just using the glue stick because I imagine I'm probably going to sew around this whole piece before I, you know, pop it down kind of thing. If you were not going to sew it, that's absolutely fine, you don't have to. Then I would say you might want to use some better glue if you're gonna do that. And then I'm gonna put this piece down here as kind of like a border, I suppose. Yeah, I'm enjoying this project from you know, it makes you think, this kind of project where you're just building it up layer by layer, and of course all of the interesting or just really all of the interesting things you can do with this type of project. You can just, you know, completely make it your own. You know, another reason to love this stuff is the one-of-a-kind creations we can make. It's very interesting, I think. So just a bit here. I'm hoping this will be big enough. I'm just going to snip off the bottom. There we go. Oh, it was nearly big enough, but no worries. Oops. Move it down a bit, actually. Yeah, I'm getting myself in a gluey mess already. Actually, I might put some glue on this piece itself rather than that. Not inking around anything. Essentially, I'm just making a mini masterboard. So if you wanted to do this kind of project but in a different way, then you know, you could just make a masterboard like you would normally and turn that into a little flip out. That would be, you know, just the same thing, isn't it? No different from what I'm doing, really. Keep on going. And then obviously we're gonna we are going to have a pocket along the bottom here. So I'm just taking note of what I'm putting along the bottom. So, but I don't know how big exactly my pocket is going to be. So I am just kind of, you know, just building up the whole piece, like covering the whole back of it, because I don't know at what point my pocket is going to start or end, really. You see? And need a bigger bit. Oh, I'll just use this bit actually. Put that along there. I'm putting the text, you know, every which way, up, down, left, right. Just trying to decide whether to. This is a bit plain up here where I just used plain scrap. So I was just wondering. Just put something a little bit more interesting across there, I think. Yep. That'll go there. And then I just want some of this, I think. These were all things that I already had in my scrap box, you know, ready to go. Okay, I think that will do. So put the lid on the glue just before you forget. Okay, so hopefully I haven't stuck it to itself. There we go. So I just want to cut around this now, and I'm cutting around with a blunt pair of scissors because I don't want to cut into the flip out itself. I'm just cutting these bits down. Okay, so my little mini masterboard is ready. So my thoughts was I want to have a window inside it. Now I have a 2.5 inch circle punch, which makes something about this sort of size. Now, because I want to have a pocket on the back, my window is going to have to go up there somewhere. Now from the front, it might look a little bit silly because it's not centre in terms of the height, but we can always put some lace across there. Yes, I may lose this butterfly, but I think it will work out just fine. So I'm going to steam ahead with my original plan. So I'm going to come in from the top and hope that I've got it something like centre. Oh, it's quite strong, so that was a little bit loud. Now I'm actually going to keep that because I might be able to do something with that, you know, at another time. Okay, and then I just want to tidy up there. I probably should have waited until the glue was a bit drier, but you know. There we go. Now there was some vellum in the kit, and I'm wondering whether I might be able to get away with some kind of ephemera that uses the vellum. So whatever I put in the pocket down here will be the thing that decorates the window. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Now there probably could have been other ways to do this. You know, you could have had the vellum in the window somehow. Maybe you could have covered the whole back of this with vellum. I didn't want to do that. I obviously wanted to go down the route of having the book page and stuff, because whatever I have in the pocket is going to decorate my window as well as be a useful piece of ephemera. So that's kind of the route that I was going down. Now, I'm not totally happy about this side of my collage. I do think I need to do something with that, but that's where we can incorporate fussy cuts and stamps and butterflies, things like that. So I'm going to hold off for now until we get to that point of the process, I guess. So my next stage is I want to decorate this. Now I was going to cover it. Now part of me is thinking, because it's just plain on the back, what if we kept it plain? And then what if we had some kind of, not this one, but some kind of crochet across it? I might do that instead actually. Because it's quite a nice neutral colour, is what I'm thinking. Okay, so first things first, is this straight? I believe so. So I just want to cut it down in length. Now I'm using this border, I'm coming in from the edge because I'm thinking I quite want to keep that whole border all the way down, just for a bit of interest. So I want to cut it about there, I think. Now the other decision I need to make is whether this is going to be a gusseted pocket. I think it will make it too bulky, especially as it's, you know, it is just a flip piece. So I'm not going to do that. It does mean whatever we put in the pocket needs to be thin, but that's fine too. I'm sure I can come up with something. Okay, so that is going to be that. So I want some like thin crochet, which we're going to use to decorate the top of this. Okay, this is all I've got now, but I refuse to go out and buy anything. So I'm thinking, yeah, that's going to look really pretty. So let me just run some glue. Now this is a bit shiny, so I'm hoping the art glitter glue, oops, will stick down fine. If not, then I'll have to do the Fabri-Tac. But let's try this first. There we go, let's just squeeze that down a bit. You could always sew it on to the cardstock if you're worried the glue isn't going to hold up over time. If I wasn't filming, I probably would do that. Just with it being, as I say, this stuff is shiny. I say shiny, it's not really shiny, it's just slightly glossy, I think is the word, really. I hope that you're getting something from this craft along, even if it's just the enjoyment of seeing something come together piece by piece. I love videos like this for pure enjoyment. I wouldn't say you necessarily learn anything from them, so that's certainly not as a beginner. If you haven't made something before, then you're probably not gonna get much from this video, but I hope that you get some inspiration from it. And I say this video, I really mean this project, because obviously it's probably going to take me a few videos, to get it to the point where I'm happy with what I've shown you. Okay, so that's where my pocket is going to be. Now, I've got a couple of hinkiness there with this piece, so I'm going to try and just tear off a little bit, just so that I like my collage a bit better. I said I was going to sew around this, didn't I? Yes, I did. So let's just sort of see if that's any better. Just a little bit more there. So sometimes you might have to do this, if you've just stuck papers down willy-nilly. That's the thing with collage, is that's better, isn't it? No hinkiness now. Yeah, that's the thing with collage. Sometimes you have to adjust it as you go, but it's all in the name of fun, isn't it? So, question. I want to sew around this whole piece, so I probably don't want to glue this down just yet, because I probably want to come inside of my stitching so that you see it the whole way around, and then that will give some interest to the front here as well. So I'm going to have to stitch it off screen, obviously. So I'm going to go all the way around here, obviously making sure that my hinge is out of the way. Don't want to cut that. And then this piece is just going to get glued on 3 sides as a pocket to go on the back there. So I'll get that sorted off screen. It'll only take me a moment. So that's that piece. So I was just checking how this would look once it's open, just to see if I still like it in combination to all of this going on, and I do. You can't see it. There we go. The only difference is that it hasn't got any orange on it. It's quite neutral. So from there we can, where I said I want to cover up some of my hinkiness, we could have little orange butterflies or orange stamps, orange stickers, which I think came in the kit, that kind of thing. So we'll decorate it up so it's got a bit of the orange on there. And then of course, when we're closed, it's going to be something like this. And obviously the window is going to get covered up by whatever goes in the pocket underneath. So we are getting there, slowly but surely. As I say, I just want to build it up, piece by piece, really. Okay, I think the next step, now that we've done, the policy closures and things, I need to get the backs of these envelopes covered as well, which again, I'm going to do off screen because it is just simply me gluing down. And like I said in the beginning, the ones that are envelope pockets, I have a full back here, so I can just mat straight away. There is no special envelope, which I explained in the intro, so I don't have to do any special gluing. So I'm going to get those matted. And then when I come back, we'll get the belly bands done, and I think that will probably be enough for today's video, because I don't want to overwhelm anyone with ideas. And then we'll come back for another part another time. So I'll be back in a jiffy. Okay, so I've got all of the backs of the envelopes matted now as well, and I just thought I would put it together one last time just so that we can sort of see how it's all coming together. I'm glad I did this piece at the front. I feel like this tones it down a bit, and then when you open it up you then get all of the fun orange and pinks and colour. So I'm glad that I went sort of neutral on that side. So I'll just show you what I've got. So here we've got the first envelope flip. I just did a pocket on the side of there, just like this one, using some scraps. And again, you know, I'm trying to use the papers that came in the box, so I'm trying to use them across the wide envelopes. So some of the writing is going the other way, which I don't mind. So this is a side pocket now, just in the exact same way I used the same scrap of card. This one I haven't backed yet because this one I want to have some kind of collage on the back, which we'll do in the next part. Obviously we've got our policy closures, and then I've just got some flowers there. So I made these almost symmetrical. It's the same paper. So these are going to have little tuck spots on the back. That's what I want to do in the next part. Then we've got these two. I think this probably wants some kind of decoration, like a label or something across the front there. And then on the backs of these two, these were what we were going to do the belly bands on. And these two are the ones that are open as pockets themselves. So we'll have a belly band down there on each of them. So I've just done, again, using some of that scripty text that came in the box. I've just got that as the background, and then we'll have the belly band, colourful belly band down the middle of those two. Now originally I had a greeting card in the back here that I was going to have as some kind of pocket with a window and things. Unfortunately I think I'm going to have to do away with this idea because it's making everything kick up a bit too much, so I think that's probably one step too many. So instead, when we get to this back part, I still want it to reveal something. That's the whole point of all these flips. So I've got a couple of sheets left over where we might be able to do something fun with, like this image. I think that would be nice. I feel like I'm probably going to choose that one. I have also got the dragonfly, but I've used the dragonfly here, so I think it's dragonfly next to dragonfly, which is probably not going to work. But I actually really like how that's looking. So, you know, if we cut off that green border at the top, so we've just got this piece, that whole bit can be the decorative cover. And the base, as I mentioned, I want this base to be completely covered in book page, music sheets, things like that. So that's what we'll do on the next part as well. So I'm going to call that a video for today. I think I've done enough for today. So on the next part, what we'll do is we will get this covered with the book pages. I think we have to mat the envelopes first though, because I want the envelope flaps to be hidden by the book page. So I think that's what we're going to have to do. So we'll get we'll build it all up. We'll cover the back of it, and we also want to do this collage on the back here. So I'll have a think about what I want for that. So that's going to be that part. In the meantime, I'll sew around this piece and get the pocket glued on. And yeah, I think that's where we're at. So I hope that you're getting something out of these videos. Obviously it's very much a craft along with me. I'm making it up as I go along. I'm fully upcycling things. So there is a lot of thinking on your feet with this type of project, because you are just working with what you've got and, you know, building it up as you go kind of thing. So I hope that that's okay. Obviously it's, you know, it's not a tutorial, it's very much I'm making one of these, this is all you're gonna get. Like I don't have a prototype, this is just simply an idea I had in my head, and I'm excited for how it's coming along. So as I said, that is my video for today. I hope that you've gotten something out of it, and I hope that you're willing to join me on the next part, which will be essentially putting all of this together into a product. And then of course, you know, we can do the belly bands and tuck spots and things. So thank you so much for joining me for today. I hope that you have a lovely rest of your week and a lovely rest of your day. and the other way around. And yeah, I hope that you are looking forward to seeing how this bundle of really pretty papers comes together. So thank you so much, everyone. We'll speak soon. Bye bye for now.